Well, good morning. I will try to show you what have been the decision and the topics we have been discussing on our task force 2. Here they are the subtasks I showed you yesterday. I'm going to enter into detail in each subtask, focusing on the topics we have discussed, also on the works we have decided to go on. Well, the initial activities was the election of a vice leader, but we decided to delay this decision until the end of the session, and at the end we have no time, so this is a pending activity. And the second, we were a real short group in the actual state, but we consider that it's basic as soon as possible to have all the experts from all the countries in the cost action nominated for task force 2. We assume that we are going, we will be able to work with at least one person from each country, so we can complete this topic. Concerning the different activities, the first subtask that was related with reviewing non-wood forest product data and models, the first activity is try to elaborate somewhat country-based report compiling the existing current data on production of these products. Okay? And we have identified that if possible we can include aspects as what is the real biological production of these products and related with the real commercial production, how many is traded, how much or what quantity of all this product is transformed in each country, or aspects in quality. Our concern was that these activities really related with all the activities we have been seeing in the presentations today, from Working Group 1, even from Task Force 1, and that we need to know which are the main products we are going to work from each working group, which are going to be the main products. The second activity is try to describe how these products are nowadays considered in forest inventories at different scales, from national forest inventories, forest statistics at national or regional level, and inventories for forest management. Describing also the techniques and the protocols for the acquisition of this data. Here we mention some aspects to consider. Our objective is to identify the gaps in available techniques and protocols for this data acquisition at different levels. Thereafter I will expose how we are going to do this task. And the third is try to carry a review on existing tools helping forest managers. We have mentioned tools, and we indicate tools and not only models, because we consider that there are a lot of other approaches, not only modeling, that can be helpful for forest managers. For example, yield tables, expertise-based tables, other systems. Our aim will try to compile all this information. A task is try to update the previous work by me and other colleagues, focusing on non-wood forest product models in Europe, trying to, this work only focus on 5 products, on resin, cork, pine nuts, mushrooms and berries, try to go beyond the scope of this original work, including all more other relevant products, and try to update it. In the second subtask was subtask 2.2. We have to review non-wood forest product modeling data and methodology. And the first activity we are going to propose is try to create a database on existing permanent plots and permanent trials for non-wood forest product modeling and research, not only focusing on modeling. We think this can be a very interesting output from the Axiom. Try to have this actualized database on all these trials in Europe and even out of Europe, focusing on this on research on these products. Another task we have identified here is try to how to propose a common methodology for forest for modeling these products. The first thing we have to do is define groups of products that can use the same methodology, and once we have identified these categories, then go on to identify required data for modeling, which modeling approach we can use, empirical or process basis, on spatial and temporal scales we can use. The idea of this work is try to deliver or spread some recommendations and guidelines for modeling these products. Okay. Finally, a point of discussion was, okay, we are going to identify gaps in knowledge related with data, with modeling, with tools for management, but how can we spread this to stakeholders, and how can we obtain information from stakeholders? But we consider that this is a bit out of the scope of a task force and enter within the scope of all the cost action. Perhaps how can we obtain these informations from the potential users of all this information? Because perhaps we can identify some gaps that are more related with our own restrictive point of view, and the stakeholders don't agree with our gaps. So we were talking about some kind of meetings or workshops or web-based activities. Don't know, perhaps this is open. And finally, to elaborate synthesis documents and recommendations about some topics. We have decided some homework to be developed from now on. The first is to elaborate a template and spread it between the task force members concerning how forest inventory at different scales includes non-wood forest products. Here there are some of the topics we have identified. What we will do will be elaborate this template and spread it between task force members in order to be in accordance with the structure of this template, and then try to fill it. And we expect to have, it would be a quite simple template, even indicating how it's included in these inventories. And perhaps we consider that we can have this finished on 31st at the end of this year. But it will all depend on us when we will have the complete task force 2 member list. To carry this review on existing models and tools, we have decided to use the template that and the protocols of model description that is being developed in a STAR3 project. A STAR3 project will cover, I think, 8 or 10 countries. So we have decided to use this same template in order to write this model database. And we consider that perhaps we can this prepared for the end of before the next meeting, okay? Or at least we will have an idea of how it's working on this topic. And finally, this review on permanent plots and trials concerning non-wood forest product research, we will design another template, and perhaps we consider that this is quite difficult because people is not only expertise on all this topic, but only on one, and this will require more time for being finished. So the deadline for having all this information will be defined in the next meeting, but our intention is that for the next meeting we will have some feedback from at least some countries, and we can show how this template is working on. We have been discussing about the database, but we have not very clear which is the structure of the database of the cost action, so we have not we cannot give some suggestion. We have been discussing topics as when we are going to know which is the final use and the final users of the database, who is going to be in charge of the maintenance. And perhaps each task force and each working group, we are creating database, how we are going to synthesize all these database in one or two databases. And finally, no, the previous. Okay. Concerning short-term scientific missions, our idea from the task force is that this task force is going to favor short-term scientific missions focusing on research topics covered by the task force. We are not going to use this instrument to do this work on reviewing, on making reports. And the only specification we are including is perhaps we can, from the task force, identify specific research activities. So we can propose either open short-term scientific mission or a specific focus identified by the task force short-term scientific missions. And that is all. Thank you. If there is any question.